Ladies and gentlemen, it appears the war is over. There's a deal. Times of Israel reporting we have a deal. Trump becomes first leader to announce hostage ceasefire deal, besting Biden. Thanks, Times of Israel, for making sure to rub it in Joe Biden's face that we have what appears to be the makings of a ceasefire. I am not entirely confident that this will hold. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a cynic and being a bit too pessimistic. But Donald Trump recently said, if the hostages are not released, the gates of hell will be unleashed. And here we are. Now, some have pointed out that a ceasefire is good. There are many pro-Palestine activists saying, it's good, we'll take what we can get. There are many pro-Israel people saying, finally, we're getting the hostages released. Good. I got to say, from a lot of people who are very critical on both sides, to be marginally happy with what's going on, I'm excited for this. And this is what I'm talking about with Donald Trump. For me, the biggest issues tend to be foreign policy, because I don't understand how we can be so self-interested at home while horrible things around the world negatively impact our ability to live. So I understand domestic issues like the border and taxes, and that certainly has come to the forefront in the past few years. But what made me largely politically active was like people I knew saying things, talking about taxes and why we can't have this and that. And I'm like, you do realize your money is going to foreign countries for war, and they're not fixing the roads here. There are there's human labor in the United States, and it can be used to make a bomb, or it can be used to pave a road. And when the U.S. government prints, borrows, or steals money, they're effectively saying, instead of funding the labor, providing food and resources to a construction worker, we're giving it to a weapons manufacturer instead. So when I look at all this foreign policy stuff and I say, we can do better. Well, here's the reporting. Times of Israel with the breaking news. They say U.S. President-elect Donald Trump becomes the first person familiar with the negotiations to publicly confirm on record that a hostage release and ceasefire deal has been reached. We have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Thank you, Trump writes on Truth Social. We have the report from The Hill. Israel and Hamas reach ceasefire deal, saying that no announcement has been made by the Biden admin as of noon Wednesday. An Israeli official confirmed to The Hill Wednesday a deal has been reached and predicted it would quickly move through a formal approval process. The deal would open the door for a possible end to more than a year of fighting since Hamas's October 7th terror attack on Israel and Israel's subsequent war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Security Cabinet will have to vote to accept the terms of the deal, and then a second vote will go before Israel's parliament, the Knesset. Is it Knesset? I don't know how to pronounce it. If the deal passes both those votes, there will also be a time for appeals against the deal to be brought to the Supreme Court. Trump had warned of all hell breaking loose in the Middle East if Hamas did not release hostages before he is sworn into office. I like this guy, Trump. I like him. And his special envoy for the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, worked closely with Biden's negotiators to reach a conclusion to the deal. An Israeli official told The Hill the process should now move quickly and the ceasefire could start as soon as Friday. Donald Trump has issued a statement, ladies and gentlemen. We got it here from Truth Social, reposted by Benny Johnson. This epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I am thrilled American and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reunited with their families and loved ones. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of the special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. We will continue promoting peace through strength, hear, hear, throughout the region as we build upon the momentum of this ceasefire to further expand the historic Abraham Accords. This is only the beginning of great things to come for America and indeed the world. We have achieved so much without even being in the White House. Just imagine all the wonderful things that will happen when I return to the White House and my administration is fully confirmed so they can secure more victories for the United States. Bravo, Mr. President. Here's the clip Alec Lace has the clip. Here's the context. Let's roll.
If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. If those...
Rio, I'm so excited for this. I'm very happy. I'm a bit pessimistic, but I hope it works out. I love that at this press conference, they're like, would you, he had a question. I don't know if it was this press conference, but they were like, would you use preemptive military strikes on Iran? And he was like, what kind of stupid question is that? Like, how am I going to come out and tell you what my plans are militarily before I've even started negotiating these things? Why would I take cards off the table? That's a stupid question. I love it. You know, most presidents, politicians would be like, well, we can't say for sure that we know exactly how things will play out, and we don't want to be too formal in announcing what our plans would be. So I appreciate the question here, but unfortunately, I can't say that I have a good answer for you. Boring. Tell it like it is, baby. I want to throw it to our good friend Dave Smith. This was posted a few hours ago. Dave Smith says, I know this is a huge if at this point, but if Trump's envoy was successfully able to pressure Netanyahu to accept a ceasefire hostage release deal, and if that isn't ultimately offset by a major insane concession to the Israelis, such as allowing them to annex the West Bank, and it ultimately leads to an end to this tragic war, then Donald Trump will start his second term as a legitimately heroic president. Dave, we'll see. We don't know for sure what this deal is. Maybe Trump did negotiate some things we might not like. I don't know. He says it will be the best thing he's ever done in his life. If he can negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine as well, put the man on Mount Rushmore. Let him take Lincoln's spot. And then we have a response from Awesome Jew who said, no one asked you. Dude, chill. Like what? Momo Moni says, you had me until the last sentence. No heart for this post. Guys, Dave's a comedian, okay? He brings levity to the issue. I agree. Make a Mount Trump right next to Mount Rushmore. Make Trump's head bigger. Bring everybody home, okay? We have troops that were trying to build a pier off Gaza. It failed. We should not be doing this. We got special forces in Ukraine. For what reason? We should not be doing this. Yo, I say, hear, Donald Trump. Bring everybody home. The hostages. Make the fighting stop. Make the killing stop. This is what we're voting for. Now, there are a lot of people on the pro-Palestine side also cheering for this. And I would say like Dave Smith is probably on the very critical of Israel side. But I look at this and I tell you, to those Israel-Palestine fighting, I don't care. I am not Israel. I am not Palestine. I don't care. I am America. I am not saying it to be like I represent. I'm saying I care about the interests of the United States of America. I am more concerned with what Justin Trudeau is doing as our direct neighbor than I care about Israel. So I say this, make the fighting stop, and we should not be involved in it. As for the funding of Israel, Ukraine, or any other state at war, nah. Now, I will tell you this, much to the chagrin of the anti-Israel people. You can't complain about Afghanistan and Joe Biden and then demand an immediate divestment from Israel. You can't do it. If the U.S. were to overnight shut down support for Israel, it would be Afghanistan times 10. That being said, leaving I should say, refusing to leave, I don't see that as an option. I see for the United States, and I talked to my anti-war libertarian friends about this, though we can't leave instantly and overnight, we can begin the process of phasing out U.S. support for Israel, for any other country, but we've been supporting Israel for decades. Clint Russell said, any country that relies on us for their existence shouldn't exist. I say, I like Israel. I got no beef. I've been there. Beautiful. I don't know why the U.S. is going to be the principal funder of their defense. should not be the case. So my view is I'm not going to play some stupid game of we should cut off all funding and leave immediately. No. We should begin the process by which we can say over the next 15, 20 years, the U.S. will begin divesting from the military funding. Like, what do we really get from giving all these resources and all this money? Intelligence access, things like this. I think we should be pulling out, but it's going to be reduced. It's going to be in a way that makes sure Israel is secure. And then we're going to say, we don't want to be involved in this. I don't think the U.S. should be uninvolved in anything. But I think we shouldn't be wasting our time and we should be focused on ourselves. I'll wrap it up there. Stay tuned, everybody. We got more segments coming up and we'll see you all in the next segment.